Welcome to Code 7. In this class, we want to move on to Flexbox as we've told ourselves. Of course, we are coming from the previous class. We actually deal with Flexbox when we compare Flexbox with tables and the rest of them. I want to make it clear to you that Flexbox just like when you switch on the light, that is Flexbox. So today we want to talk about flex direction. What actually is flex direction? Flex direction is just a property that defines the direction on which your content will be displayed. Remember, flex deals with display, okay, as we started earlier on. So you can use it to create horizontal or vertical layout, okay. Don't worry about that. We'll start creating it. We'll show you the horizontal layout and the vertical layout based on your X and Y axis. I can also use to switch between the two depending on the context, okay. So we have four flex direction values to choose from, and I would like you to note these four because we're going to work with them practically. Okay. The first one is your row. So this value will create a row layout with the content displaying from left to right. Okay, we'll also show you practically on this. While next one is column. And this value will create a column layout with the content display from top to bottom. Okay, top to bottom. And then you also have your row reverse. So just like this value will create a row layout, but with the content display from right to left. Revise it. Okay, you revise. Okay. While the column reverse is also the same thing, it creates value, creates a column layout, but with the content of that display from bottom to top, from bottom to top, instead of top to bottom. Okay, so that is just the four qualities of flex direction. Having said this, let's move ahead to the practical aspect. Let me show you how this works. Let's go practically. I want to make sure that this class should be as practical as possible. If you check, I've opened my VS Code, I'm using VS Code for this. Okay, I've also opened my empty page, but no one this doesn't worry about this, we'll still do it. So come to your VS Code, I actually create a folder and I name the folder responsive. So I've searched for the folder, I put the folder here, and that's the only thing I did, which I know you know how to do when you did HTML. In case you've forgotten that class, go back to HTML class and know how you can actually create a folder on your desktop, and then from your VS Code, you go to folder, from folder, you choose it, and that's all. So let's create a file. The first file, as usual, is supposed to be index.html, right? But since I'm working with VS Code with Flexbox, I'll just write flex.html. Or you can choose anything you like. It doesn't mean it should be flex.html, long as it ended with HTML. That's what matters. Okay. And I'll also go ahead and create another file that I will call flex.css. That's our CSS file. So I'm working with HTML and CSS. Okay, flex.css. Can also be index.css. Anything you like, can put it there. Okay, it doesn't mean it can also be style.css. Sorry, it can be style.css. Doesn't mean it should be flex, but I choose flex. But choose anything you like. We have our flex.css here, nothing is there. Index.html, nothing is there. So let's create our HTML skeleton by holding your shift key and press 1. Kind of exclamation mark. Okay, click on it first. So shift key, press 1. Come over. Okay. So we've got an HTML skeleton. Then you come over here, change the title. Then the title be Flexbox tutorial. Okay. Flexbox tutorial. Flexbox tutorial. And let's link our CSS with our HTML. So to link that, as usual, you click your link, and under href, use your flex, look for flex.css or whatever you use to save yours, but it must end with CSS. I hope you didn't forget all this class. Forget all this class, go back to our previous class and get all of this. So link everything, save your work. Now let's come to the body. We want to create a div with a class of container, and then also create a child. Those child should be named item. You can name the item, I mean bosses, anything you want to name it, okay? But today let's move away from you know about this already, but I want to introduce another method that can make your work easier. .html, image.html, remember our specificity. Now for us to link to a child, you hold your shift key and hold your greater than, and you have this, okay, you have it like this. So the meant to create that, you go to the bottom div for the child, should be .item. Then we can actually end it here and give us exactly what we want, but want this div to appear for like 5 places. Okay, so I will use a dash, and this dash I will go and put a dollar sign. So I want to put dollar sign because I want to create div to be individually. I do I want them not to be individual. I'll just do dot item times 5. Okay, but I want them to be individually. I want those class to be individually. So that's why I put a dollar sign, dash dollar sign or minus dollar sign, then times 5, which is 5 class of div. Then I also want another class that will just be item. Oh, let me change this item to boss. But you can also call it item, is right. You can call it boss. But let me change it to boss. I want to use boss. It should be box. Okay. Since we are creating a boss. Box 5. So that's 5. I also want another class of boss that will be a general class for all the 5. So what would I do? I just put dot box again. Dot box. Okay, and then I press enter. You see it? So without wasting time, what have I done? I've just created 5 div, and in that 5 div, you have a number of 1 to 5 to make them different from, so I can able to channel them differently and give them whatever I want to give them differently as a boss. And after that, also create another class that is called boss. So there's a space and this boss, and that boss actually applies to all the 5. So it's very simple. I know you can do this. You cannot do it, go back over it and learn it again. It's better you know this method, so I can actually, it's a kind of shorthand. Okay, as a programmer, web developer, always make use of shorthand. So let us name it box 1 to 5. So the next one should be box 2, followed by box 3, followed by box 4. So you can actually create all of this at once, but let's take it gradual. Let's not just show you everything at once. And lastly, box 5. Box 5. That's all. Okay. So I've created a div of 5 boxes. Control for save. Now let's go and check this and see if it does apply. Right click, open with Lifesaver. Let's see. Yeah, that's come. Box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go ahead to our CSS and see how we can design this under flex.css. So the first thing I want to do is to use my universal selector. Remember we're talking about selector. Remember I always keep on mentioning selector. We did that under persistent and cascading, and we also did selector, CSS selector. Forgotten any of those class, kindly go back to them or ask me, and I'm going to refer it to you to go through. So to select everything, we use star asterisk. Okay, so use that star, then create the code browser, and here we just want to do margin 0, padding 0, which is a normal thing. Okay, margin 0, padding 0, padding 0, and I want to make the box sizing to be border box. Okay, so box sizing, border box, and that's all. So with this, let's now select the container. Press for save. Yeah, it applies. We'll select the container, which is dot container. Open your code browser, bring it down. Then for here, we want to also start with background color. Let's give me a background color so we can know what we're doing. I want to use background color of brown. Brown. Let me use brown. Okay. I can call it brown or brown. I don't know. Let me use brown is correct. So I'll bring my mouse down, and then let's do a little bit on our font, on our right top, on our text. So let me give him a font family. I love Arial, Helvetica, and sans serif. We explained this when we are dealing with font. Forgot to go back. Then let's increase the font size. Let's make the font size to be bold. Font size bold. Okay. And then what again? Let me just align it in. Okay. Line. Line. Just test align. So I'm not yet in align yet. So test align. Okay, let it be center. Test align center. And let me color the text. Then give me color of something antiquate. So control for save. Bam. Everything has applied. So now that we've seen this applying, there's application there. We now go over and Let's try to give a space on this boxes so we can see where the box ended. So let's use margin. Let's use margin of 10 pieces. It's like I always like 10 pieces. Margin 10 pieces. And let's give me a padding of 10 pieces as well. Padding of 10 pieces. Let's save our work and see. Control for save. Yeah, it's applying. So giving margin 10 pieces, padding 10 pieces. So we've done our padding, but I don't want to put all these things here. No, I don't want to put it here. So let's copy this. I want this to be on the child, not the parent. Okay. I just want few things on the parents. So background is okay to be on the parents. Font family should go to child. Font size, text align, color should go to child. So let's take those ones. While margin and padding can also remain with the parents. So I just copy it and cut. Okay, control, just cut it off. Let's go. Okay, just select all. Rest for cuts. This should be okay. Save it so it remain like this. Okay, should be like this. So let's give a space, and then for the child, which is boss. Okay, the child has a class of boss. Open your code browser, bring it down, then paste those things that we copied before. Remember, we didn't copy from anywhere. We actually the one that coded together, right? Font family, we give it area, then font size, giving bold, text align, we say it should center, color antiquate, we giving color to be white, which is antiquate white. And let's save and see what we did. Yeah, it has come to center. So we still want to give this a margin. Just one, let's separate it so I can see box one different from box two and stuff like that. So let's give me a margin and padding, okay? You know, I always like 10 pieces, so I'll still give you a margin of 10 pieces. And the contrast for save. Then the padding too should be 10 pieces, okay? Give me a padding of same 10 pieces, okay? And contrast for save. Everything is in place. So let's now go ahead and give me a background color. Let's give me a background color so I can be able to see the separation of each of the boxes. So give me a background color of what will I use? Let's try aqua, background color of aqua, okay? So Control S for save, of course. So we've been able to see our boxes, but it's like the white color didn't show us. So let's change the white color of our text. Instead of white, let's change into something different. Okay, let me show you that I can actually go by here and choose a color from here. So let's choose something that is close to red, okay? So that way our color will turn to RGB. I think I've taught RGB before now. So I'll start for red. The red is 219, the green is 14, and the blue is 14. Okay. So let's save. Address for exactly. So bus 1, bus 2, bus 3, bus 4, bus 5 is clear. So this is how this is. Now imagine that if you want to turn this to float left, float right, or stuff like that. You know, I'm going to do a bit. It's quite a lot of work. But with Flexbox, how will it do? Just what will happen immediately we turn to flex. It's just like when you on a light and light display. So to switch to flex, we'll come to the container because remember working with the container side, which is the parent side of Flexbox, we'll go to the child side of Flexbox. So for the container to switch to flex, just click on display, type display, okay? While you displaying, you are displaying flex. And see what happen automatically, Control S for save. Did you see it? Immediately we click display flex. Look at how our box become more portable and all in the same line, okay? So remember, Flexbox deals with cross axis and y axis, okay? The axis it is right now is the x axis, okay? So the cross axis now is the x axis. So, and this is when many display flex, turn to row. Okay, you can call this row, turn to row. So row is the default for Flexbox, and that's where we are going, flex direction. So under flex direction, you have row, you have column, and you have row reverse, and you have column reverse. Those are the 4 items in flex direction. Let me give you a little knowledge advice here when I'm handling programming. I always like to know the item that associate with each particular area. Like when I talk about flex direction, I should remember my row, my column, my row reverse, and my column reverse. Okay, that's what I should always remember. Even if I don't remember that type, I remember that those 4 are associated with flex direction. So let's now start it one by one. Flex direction, which is our study for this. So I go to flex direction, and flex direction tell you the direction of the flex box. Is it going from left to right, or is it coming from right to left, or is it going from up to down, or is it coming from down to up? Okay, that is what I mean. But let's not take that one after the other. We explain. If it goes from left to right, what do they call it? We call it row. Okay, so if I type row now, which is from left to right, is still going to be the same thing. Why? Because of, look at it, the same thing. Because of what I told you, that row is default for flex. Okay, so flex row is default for flex direction. So it won't make any change. But let's make it to be row reverse. But in other words, coming from right to left. So let's reverse it. Row reverse. So dash reverse, row reverse, Control S for save. What did you see? It moved in another direction. And if you note, it didn't just move to another direction, but it also changed the numbers. Instead of moving from number 1 to number 5, and now start from the other side of it, cutting 1, 2 to 5. No longer cutting the number 1 to 5. Okay? So if you check, there's a change in number and there's also a change in buses. So that is just it for row reverse. It still maintain the same X axis. Okay? So the next one I want to talk about is column. Okay? Column. And remember, this, I told you this is S axis. So next one is column. Column. As for save, you see column. This is column. Exactly the way it was before we switch to flesh. So it now move from up to bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this column now, this is exactly Y axis. And remember, X axis and Y axis is not a product of web development or programming or anything. No, this is pure mathematics. Just the way you would handle it when you are doing mathematics. Okay? There's a rule from mathematics. So now let's now make it column reverse and see what will happen. Column reverse and save. And you see it changed too. Instead of moving from 1 to 5, from 1 up to 5 down, it now moved from 1 down, 5 up. So this is the 4 areas: row reverse, column reverse, row, and column. And this is what Flexbox always work about. But this is not the only thing we've seen in Flexbox. We'll move to the next one. But before then, let's switch it back to row. So you see that row works. So remember, we say it's the default. So by the time you take it to row, come back to its default position. Control S for save, and that is it. This is row. So this is what row flex direction is all about. Let's move to the next flex item. Remember, all these items are on the parent item. Okay. Thank you for listening to us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and see you in our next class. Bye.